Hello, I'm Gerald Eefting. Welcome to the next video of the series, Bring Your Family Together. Today, I'm going to share some thoughts with you around family meetings and family retreats. We'll cover things like, why have family meetings? Why have family retreats? What's the process of creating a family meeting? How do you create a plan? What would you include in family meetings? What do you include in family retreats? And hopefully that creativity will help you to plan some very creative retreats and meetings in the future. The main objective, of course, of all family meetings and retreats is twofold: to create harmony and to build relationships. Having these connections are more important than ever. In this day and time of globalization, and people are spread out all over, in the days of isolation and quarantine, having family meetings and family retreats are more important than ever to stay connected. Obviously the most important thing is the communication. The first thing about communication is to listen. The last thing about communication is to listen. Create some safe communication. Create that safe space where everybody has a voice, where being vulnerable is okay, being authentic is okay. Have some opportunity for key communication. Don't have it just as idle chit chat. Have open, honest, and transparent conversations. Have meaningful conversations. Relationship building. Having that development of a tribe mentality, or I've got your back. You want to build that family loyalty. You want to be able to give and share and receive. One of the things that's been proven to build stronger relationships is to share meals together. So no matter what size the family is, I still encourage you to share meals together. And ultimately, you want to develop in your relationships, how can I help you? Make sure you include fun, include time for bonding, and plan for laughter. Build special moments and special memories. Also include individual family knowledge and development time. Creating that shared vision. Focus on advancing the family brand, the family relationships, the family feeling. Give leadership opportunities and development opportunities. Maybe in the rising generation, you allow people to participate or lead different committees. Have legacy discussions. Do some family planning, the short term, medium term, long term. A lot of times we get stuck in traditions. So I threw this into so that you could at least have some thoughts around, what are our traditions? What do we want to keep? What do we want to remove? Which traditions or new traditions do we want to start? Have a discussion around family governance, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. Around process. Facilitate the meetings so that everyone could participate. Have a facilitator. And that way nobody from the family is stuck being that facilitation. That way every family member is able to participate. Put some formality to the meeting portion. Have some roles and expectations, and have some ground rules around participation. What are the expectations around that? Have the expectation and objectives of the actual meeting. Have those up front. And have intentional conversations through those. Have them as part of the agenda. Come from a place of abundance versus scarcity. What that would mean to me is that you come from a place where you could do anything versus scarcity of, well, we need to cover our butt. Believe that everyone has a special gift to share with the family and with the world. Everybody has something to contribute. Allow flexibility. So if you need to add a new piece into the agenda, go for it. Be creative. Be creative in the location and setup of the room. Be creative, include some group exercises, some maybe team building or icebreakers. Balance perspectives. And that is perspectives of maybe the rising generation, of the ownership piece, of the business engagement, family members that are engaged in the business, family members that aren't engaged in the business, but have that equal participation. Just because they're not part of the business, make sure that they still are able to participate. Allow them to share their perspective on things. Creating that plan. What to cover when. You know that you're not going to be able to cover everything in one meeting. So it's, what are the priorities? What should be covering now versus later? Have an agenda. Create some dashboards for reporting so that it's kind of consistent every time you meet. That way you're not trying to relearn what the presentations are. So if you have a consistent dashboard of the business or the family reporting, at least then you could utilize those and people will understand them more and more over time. Include a business focus and a family focus. What are all the items you can include in the family meetings and family retreats? Well, if we start with the family wealth equation, which is financial capital plus human capital plus social capital, you want to include components of all three. The financial capital, all your assets, and the business components, your human capital, the individuals, the social capital, the relationships, and the branding. And you want to also cover off legacy, sharing the story. If you don't have that story as part of your meetings yet, have at least one meeting where somebody is sharing the legacy of the family, the story of the family. Maybe there's the story of the great-great-grandfather, great-great-grandmother, what adversity they came through. Have some discussion around vision and mission. And we talked about shared values. What are the family values? You could include those in the family meetings, or you can actually establish them in a family meeting if they haven't been yet. Have family updates, have financial updates. Provide education opportunities within family meetings, or at least highlight them so that people can take them on their own on the outside of the family meetings. You could leverage experiences and wisdom of the members of the family or members of the business. Maybe you bring a senior manager or an executive into the family meeting just to share what's happening. You could have collaborative decision-making where you discuss the challenges, concerns, and opportunities, and then have some discussion around that and where people can share their ideas and brainstorm around some of those challenges. You could develop spousal or children curriculum. If they're not included in the family meetings, maybe you create a separate education piece for spouses, separate education or for the children. Have some contingency planning in terms of crisis planning. Highlight family employment opportunities. How do you create family opportunities, i.e. what is required to be part of the business? Review the ownership policies and the community responsibilities of the family. Have discussion around distribution policies, succession that might be planned or unplanned. How are you going to move forward? Building the philanthropic plan for the family. You might create a family day of giving back to a charity. These are all different ideas that you could be included. The last idea I'll kind of share around family meetings is you could have a discussion around the 5 love languages. It's by Gary Chapman. Usually each person has 1 or 2 or 3 different love languages, and they feel loved when those things occur. There's the gift of time, the gift of buying gifts, the acts of service, the physical touch, the words of affirmation. I know my personal ones are the physical touch and the words of affirmation. A little bit of time, but the physical touch and the words of affirmation are my keys. I know for my wife, it's the acts of service. I know for one of my children, it's the gift is the love language. So what's the love language for yourself? What's the love language for your partner and for your family? You can discuss those type of things in your family meetings. It always helps because then you can always go back to it. Oh yeah, your love language is the gift. In family retreats, obviously the key again is to build relationships in harmony. You want to build memories in retreats. Go to special locations, do some special things, And again, make sure you're sharing meals, having that meal time, creating relationship over food. Have shared outings, be creative. Maybe it's whitewater rafting or dog sledding or golfing or museums, whatever it is, but be as inclusive as possible. Make sure that everybody feels involved, that they don't feel left out. So that would be the shared outings. Create those memories. Celebrate life events, birthdays, anniversaries. Maybe it's the family enterprise anniversary. Maybe it's a business achievement. You know, those type of things. Celebrate each life event, a new birth in the family. Put a time aside in a family retreat for personal dreams and goals. Set some dreams and goals. Take some personal time and then share them among family members. And as a leader of a family, and when I say leader, it doesn't mean by title, it could be anybody. As a leader of the family, share joy, share what brings joy, share your hardships, share successes, share failures. And the more as the leaders start sharing that, everybody else will follow. One of the things that we cover a lot of times is to utilize family meetings to create that emotional governance that I had talked about. Now, the emotional governance, for those that may have missed it or just need a quick reminder, it's the agreements of how to behave with each other. And a lot of times we utilize the family wealth constitution or a family charter or a family document. It doesn't really matter what name, but it really is a unique document for each family. And it's a living document. It's not just put on a shelf. This is where we do include the vision and mission and the values. And we also include a number of different things. And you go through the list that's on the slide. But it's utilizing the family meetings to capture some of these items. So when was your last family meeting, or when was your last family retreat? Then how would you and the other participants describe those meetings? What are the words they would use? If you asked them, what did you think about it? What did you think about the last family meeting? What would the answer be? Would it be, they were great, they were informative, they were balanced, they were boring? What would it be? And then you could make decisions from there. And do you have an emotional governance established as a family? Does everybody know the expected behaviors? What are the agreements between each other about how to form those agreements? And remember, you need to do the personal work first. You need to know your own crap before you start talking about anybody else's. How you impact others, how your behaviors impact others. That covers the majority of family retreats, family meetings. And there was a lot to cover in a really short time. And hopefully you can go back and just generate some ideas of what those family meetings might look like. So, what action do you need to take? When it comes to family meetings and family retreats, what do you need to do? When's the next one? What's it going to look like? I hope that somehow this has just triggered some thoughts for you. If you need to discuss anything or you want to ask some questions, feel free to reach out. The email's below, always via LinkedIn as well. And until the next video, have a great day.